warriors, welcome to another important video on my channel. Thank you so very much for joining me today. And if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, please go ahead and do that now. As well, if you want to learn more about the #1 health anxiety program available online today, head on over here. And friends, today is about talking about an aspect of health anxiety. And I've discussed this aspect before in other videos and other podcasts and blog posts, yes. But at the same time, when I go on the Facebook support group that we have, a lot of people seem to be reverting back to this habit of Googling their symptoms. And I was in this place for a very long time, There wasn't a lot of people that I could talk to that understood me deeply. I didn't feel like others were empathetic to my suffering. Bless them, when I went to the physicians, I was treated more towards the symptoms than I was as a person. So it was very, very difficult. So I can understand how people head to Google or other search engines or ask other people on forums and groups about their symptoms. I can understand where they're coming from because this is a frantic place to live in, right? I mean, the last thing we want to lose is our survival. So we're going to do whatever it takes to maintain our run of survival. And Google is the fastest answer many times. So I've been seeing this on our Facebook support group recently. And I said, you know what? Let's do a video where we understand why we do this as well. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you what I believe to be is one of the most powerful things that you can do to overturn this habit and really supercharge your health anxiety healing. So that's going to be towards the end of the video. But first, let's understand why we do this, because reflection is a big part of healing. Okay, remember that. Reflection is a big part of healing. Reflection doesn't mean overthinking. Reflection means focusing on certain aspects of your disorder, okay, and seeing your habits from an outsider's point of view, really taking yourself out of that frantic survival-based place and going, you know what, I have to see what's going on here from the outside. So make sure that reflection each and every day is a part of your time as you heal anxiety and move to the next chapter in your healing journey. So why do we do it? Why do we do it? #1 reason why we do this and Google our symptoms is to find a cause to our suffering, okay? To find a cause to our suffering. But more often than not, we don't find causes. We only find more suffering when we Google our symptoms. And you notice that, right? Because many times when you Google your symptom, you're going from, ALS to cancer, to another disease, to this and that. And rarely are you ever told of the emotional baggage that you're carrying around in your mind-body subconscious that is in fact creating these unconscious triggers within your environment and your imagination. Nobody ever tells you that until you do the deeper work, right? Health anxiety is a habit or a bundle of habits. It's pattern, right? And if only our authority figures would tell us that, we would start to be able to break this pattern, break this habit, right? Because we would come to the realization that we are doing this to ourselves many times, right? And this allows us to take responsibility for what we think, how we think about things, how we perceive things, how we act. As well, we can take control of the most important and vital aspect of us, which is our visual imagination. So we do it to find a cause to our suffering, but the only thing we find is more suffering in turn. Can you relate? If you can relate, comment below. We do it because we feel that the uncertainty of not placing a label on it may cause the worst to manifest, okay? So health anxiety and anxiety sufferers are very label driven, okay? Very judgmental in not so much in the way of the outside world, but judgmental in terms of what's taking place on the inside, right? I am this, I'm suffering from that, right? And so what we have to understand is that uncertainty can be the very thing that you need to grasp and hold on to in order to get to a place of deeper understanding and deeper clarity towards your anxiety. Okay? It's not about this tight grip over everything that you do in your life. Okay? Because that tight grip is only causing these stress hormones to become activated more often. It's only causing you to become more frantic in terms of finding an answer to what you're dealing with. Now, of course, let's understand here, okay? You've got symptoms and sensations in your body that you're concerned about. You've got to go get those things checked out. But a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th opinion only shows that you're wasting your time on looking for a structural issue to your suffering, when in fact the suffering is coming from a feeling, mental, and emotional based issue. Okay? Thirdly, why we do it is because it keeps us within a perpetual loop of familiar worry, right? And I think you can relate to this a little bit here, because worry can become a part of us. Worry isn't just something you do. You know, a lot of people, our friends and families, say, oh, just stop worrying about that. And you're going, just stop worrying about that? Worry is what I do. I have identified with being a worrywart, okay? And if I don't worry about something, I truly don't know who I am anymore. So a lot of people have identified with being a worrier, and Googling your symptoms and paying so much attention on your sensation and what your body is doing, and always standing guard to the next threat that your body may encounter. These are just other forms of worrying. Many times when people heal their health anxiety, they move on to another aspect of their life that they can worry about, right? It's relationships, it's something else on the outside. So we have to come to the understanding that these are patterns that have been running within us for decades. And health anxiety, more often than not, is just another way to fulfill some of those habits that we've been engaged in all of these years, okay? But many of us come to a point in our lives where we go, hey, I am not my worry anymore. I no longer want to identify with being a worrier. I no longer want to identify with a person that is always looking to stand guard to the next threat in my life. I'm tired of spending so much time overthinking and over-worrying about things. And you know what? Just for today, I'm going to give this feeling of being carefree a shot. I'm going to give uncertainty a shot. I'm going to give a healing modality that speaks directly to my subconscious mind a shot. Because many times, my friends, healing comes from the information and the knowledge and the wisdom that you never expected it to come from, right? We read all the books, We listen to all the podcasts. We go from mentor to influencer to mentor to influencer, thinking that this is going to be the thing that helps me with what I'm dealing with right now. But more often than not, the wisdom, the epiphanies come out of the blue when you're walking in nature, just before you fall asleep, right? When you wake up in the morning and you touch a tree, heck, hug a tree, right? If you dare. And so we have to understand that, this deeper understanding as to what we're going through, more often than not, lies in those environments and in those experiences that we least expected them to. Now, I want you to do this instead in moments where you're about to Google your anxiety symptoms, okay? Listen up. First, in that very moment, I want you to close your eyes. And the action of closing your eyes will make you feel like you're losing time. Okay, you're losing time. You've got to find the answer. You've got to figure this thing out, and Google's right there. Why the heck are you closing your eyes? Your inner child is going, you're crazy, right? This is a moment. This is something we have to figure out. No. Healing comes from defying the beliefs of your subconscious inner child over and over and over again, until you override those old beliefs and replace them with new ones. So the act of closing your eyes in that moment turns you inwards in a different way. Not in a survival frantic way, but more so from an understanding and compassionate place. Remember, healing health anxiety has a lot to do with rebuilding your relationship with your body once again. Okay, and the idea of caring for yourself should never be interpreted as selfishness. No. So you're about to Google your symptoms, and instead of going frantic from one site to the next and only adding to the adrenaline and cortisol that you're feeling that will spur on more health anxiety, instead of doing that, you close your eyes. And then you take a moment to observe the idea from the perspective of your healed self. From your healed self. So instead of unconsciously imagining a disease or a virus or something wrong with you physically, instead of unconsciously imagining that and creating self-fulfilling prophecies that way, instead of doing that, you are consciously imagining what it's like to see the idea, the catastrophic idea, from your healed self. You are already healed. So I close my eyes and I focus on the idea that my heart palpitation is in fact related to some kind of trigger in the environment that I'm too frantic to recognize in this moment. So my healed self is making the decision as to what the symptom means, not my frantic self. You close your eyes and you see the symptom and the idea from the perspective of your healed self, and you stay there. You stay there for as long as it takes for everything to even out again. Okay? No longer are you so frantic and concerned and worried, but you're going, you know what? I can make peace with this symptom. Oh my goodness. Your healed self has already made peace with the symptom and all the things that your body screams about. So instead of seeing it from your catastrophic self, right, who is habitually worried and has been stuck in health anxiety for quite some time, you see it from your healed self, okay? The description and the instructions for this will be in the description of this video. But remember, once again, you feel the anxiety symptom. You're about to Google your symptom, okay? Instead, you close your eyes in that moment. You defy your fears and you defy your old habits. You're going against everything you've ever done in that moment. You're going against your survival brain, your emotional brain, and your neocortex, your thinking brain, has a chance to have a say. Then you say, how would this idea look from my healed self? How would this symptom look from my healed self 6 months down the road, whatever it may be? And things start to look different. You start to look different. Your pain and suffering starts to look different. My friends, I can't tell you how powerful this is when you start to use it consistently. Okay? Because you're going to get to a place of replacing over worry with observation. And when you can sit there, eyes closed, and observe what's taking place on the inside, you are taking back control from your inner child that wants you to live in fear because of the traumas that it experienced back in the day. Therefore, you're changing the perception of your old traumas, and you are creating a future rather than allowing your subconscious to create it for you. Woo! This is powerful stuff. Now I want you to comment below and tell me, will you start using these steps starting today? And let me tell you something. Today's going to be the worst you've ever been at it. But you must persevere. You must persevere because these anxiety symptoms have never killed you and never will. Remember that. You're here. You're listening to this video. You are contributing to your healing. So understand that if others can do it, so can you. You can break this habit. And it's like a domino effect. When you stop Googling your symptoms, all sorts of other things start to change as well. And remember, change is a good thing. Don't be afraid of change. Change can be uncomfortable. Change is unfamiliar. And remember, vulnerability is the key to your healing. So embrace it and welcome it in each and every day. And I promise you, you will live with empowerment for the rest of your life. Give this video a like if it spoke to you. Comment below if in fact you can relate to what I went through, and start this process today. You can watch this video a few times to understand the process better, or go into the descriptions and read about it. But either way, remember that you are more than anxiety. I'll see you soon.